We're live. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. It's your boy UltraMaximus back from a miniature con. I guess you can call it a not a mega con, but it was a decent little size show that I went to today. It was the Orlando Toy and Comic Con. It was actually held at the Florida Mall. But before you go like, man, this thing was held at the mall. Yeah. This mall has a hotel in it. Welcome to Orlando, where the international travelers like to come and stay in a hotel, and then where they can wake up and go downstairs and go shopping. Very unique experience. Actually, this is a mall that, even though it's within like a half hour, 45 minutes of my house, I don't ever go to it, just because I know it's a tourist trap, and it's usually just one of those places that I don't need to go that far. I have the same stores, 3, 4 other malls that are probably way closer. But this was a decent con. Lots of parking, which was cool. It was a little scary at first because the line wasn't all that long. I mean, that's always a reason to be alarmed. But I only got there like 20 minutes early. Doors opened at 10. They were selling a $25 like VIP pass to get in at 9:30. I don't think that half hour is going to give those guys any more time than the dealers who went to each other's tables and looked through each other's bins did. So, not that really of a big deal for me. I did the regular $15 shindig, got myself a nice little bracelet, and yeah. So now let me turn this stuff off because otherwise I'm going to. All right. So this evening, I got a nice little sweet haul video. And this haul video consists of, honestly, there's a couple of books in here that I really, really wanted to get. I've been looking for high grade copies. Definitely, my collecting habits have definitely gotten stricter over the years. To whereas I'll put back 9.2s and 9.4s because they got too many spine breaks. It's not something that honestly I would have done probably 5 years ago when I really started getting back into comics, but. Nonetheless, there was a lot of bins that were on the floor that were variant bins, but this place was kind of packed today. So I didn't really, I had people like falling over my legs and stuff like that. And I'm trying to sit on the floor. Yeah. And if you can imagine a 6'3" guy like me sitting on the floor, digging through a bin, definitely taking up a little bit more room than people wanted to because they need a place to walk. But nonetheless, it was a really, really good time. I'm going to get into the haul here that I got here right now, in fact. So let's get this show on the road. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some indie books. And I'm going to start off with a Campbell cover. This is just one of those. There was a dealer I was at, and I was trying to negotiate with him on some other books. He was trying to hardball me on the price. And actually, this is a dealer who doesn't price his books. He waits until you pick them. So I kind of did work for him on a few books that he wanted to charge me a lot for, like Eternals 2, Question 17, some things like that I actually gave back because he wanted too much money for what they were. So, but yeah, this is just one of those books. It's a Campbell cover. It is actually a Wildstorm signature series. Miniseries from 2006. So I haven't looked up any details on it. I just know it's a Campbell cover. It's a Danger Girl Back in Black #1. It's a pretty wicked looking Campbell cover. Just typical Jeff Scott Campbell style. Got himself some ladies, got him on a motorcycle. All is well. All right. So the second and apparently last indie book that I got is Transformers book. I did not have any stores that I was able to make it to on Local Comic Shop Day this year, and this is actually Local Comic Shop Day Transformers Optimus Prime, Local Comic Shop Day variant. The First Strike crossover stuff. Hasbro, please just let IDW do their thing with Transformers without having to have G.I. Joe and all these other guys like all up in it. But I know it's too late to change that. There's no going back unless you start over with a new universe again. So there is obviously a little bit of dissatisfaction in the tone of my voice, if you can't tell. But moving on, I actually haven't read First Strike yet. I just know that it was like an assassination attempt on Optimus Prime by humans on Cybertron. Like, Come on, really? Anyway, these next two books I'm actually going to save because I want to show them last because those are the ones that I really, really wanted. I've been on the hunt for some of these books for a little while, and honestly, going into it, the DC stack isn't all that big either. This was definitely a big Marvel haul for me. But nonetheless, just been diving, going through some books, trying to find some good, nice ones. Found me another Jenny Frisian number 18 for Wonder Woman and a number 19, just kind of filling in some of the gaps that I have. Again, these Frisian covers, she uses such pastels and some dark colors on a lot of her things that they just show so many stress marks and so many just defects and stuff like that. So whenever you can find a clean one, pick it up. I had actually a dealer asking me, he's like, so what covers of those are good? I was like, basically any of them from 20 under 25. If you have them, put them out, and you'll probably get a buck or two over cover, maybe a little bit more depending on how clean they are. At this show, there was a ton of Adam Hughes books, but the problem is I'm used to again digging Wonder Woman's out for $4, $5, $6. A lot of these Wonder Womans and Catwomans guys are now pricing them 10, 15, $20 a book, and even for the ones that don't really have a whole lot of people chasing them, there's a reason why your book sat this weekend. Wonder Woman 184 continues to elude me in a decent copy. I had a copy offered to me for $60, and I nearly swooned and had a heart attack. But because it was $60, I was like, well, "Okay, what's wrong with this?" It was also at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the day of the show. So you figure if a book's on the wall that long during the day, yeah, something's probably wrong with it. And sure enough, the back cover is completely haggard. About 5.5, 6.5 copy tops. So it was definitely one of those books that I left. However, running into, I got to say, I'm very fortunate to have had a little bit of time working for a local comic shop. I got to meet a ton of people, and some of these people I actually run into at these cons. Maximus mentioned for again Zach Gustafsson. Good seeing you again today, bro. Also saw my buddy Will. He used to come into the store, and just on the way out, I was able to nab a pretty sweet Hughes cover I've been after. This would be Action Comics number 900, the Adam Hughes variant. A lot of hubbub about Action 1000, but let's also not forget that both Detective Comics and Action Comics have both reached other, high volume numbers. So there's that Magnolia variant for, I believe, Batman 700. Or is it Magnolia? Yeah, it might be Magnolia. There's the variant for Batman 700. I know there's one that's another one that I was after, just to kind of go with this one as a set. Kind of one of those pairing things that I'd like to do. But yeah, so nab this really really sweet copy. Extremely pleased about that. And then, believe it or not, here's a guy with overstock on from his new books, and he had some Mr. Miracle in there. So yeah, I nabbed him. Mr. Miracle number 4, number 6 variant. Really, really pleased about that. And then, believe it or not, I have 2 more DC books, and that's it for DC. Now, the first one is just one that it was in a stack of books that I was trying at one dealer for the very last book I'm going to show you guys in this haul tonight. Was book that I got to talking to the guy about. He had 2 of them, and you'll see why this one's very very special. I think I discovered a new version of a variant, and if I haven't, I definitely want to just freak out because whoever did talk about it someplace else, I didn't hear you, and I wish I would have heard you because this is sick. However, the book that I have in my hand is a personal collection goal, for Detective Comics, Batman Year 2. The Tom McFarlane covers. Everybody knows those. Well, this is the one. This is Year 2, Part 4, number 578. So Batman holding the Reaper weapon there. Pretty cool stuff. McFarlane drawing Batman with a gun and the Reaper suit. Just a really, really sweet copy. Press and go, and once this one's going into the grading pile because it's clean. Trying to find these really, really clean copies just don't exist. I really think there's probably another, a couple Batman books I really should have picked up today. I did find a Death in the Family that I probably should have splurged on because it was a straight copy. Those are probably between the Batman Year Two and the Death in the Families. They're just super, super hard to find in high grade because they're red. Everybody was reading the crap out of these things back then. But there was one Batman book. If you guys have been watching a lot of closed auctions on eBay, this book has come up in the 9.8s and started breaking $400+. It started blowing me away. So I was already on the hunt for it, and it has multiple printings. At MegaCon, I was able to nab a third print. I was really, really, really happy about that. And I was like, you know what? It's a really, really sweet looking copy of this book. But you know what? Today, I got myself the first print of this book. So I'm really, really pleased about it. And I got to say, I mean, it's got a shot at 9.8, a very, very slim one maybe, but it's still got a shot. And I'm gonna take every option I can to try to make sure that this one makes it. But today I picked up a Batman 423, first print, Tom McFarlane, and this book, this copy of this book, it's really funny. So in the bin that I'm diving through, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I found some of his Batman Year Two detectives in one of his other boxes." And I was like, "Oh, it's a little bit too beat up for me." He's like, "I got some other McFarlane covers, and they're over here." So in this box, I see this one, and this is, like I said, it's a beautiful looking copy. Had a pretty high price on it. And then he shows me a newsstand copy that's worse than this. But it's a newsstand. First print newsstand. Okay, you know what? I come from the 80s and 90s. I remember when a book wasn't available at my local store, I wait 3 weeks and I go to the Hallmark store and I buy it because it would hit the stand racks with barcode. I used to always hate getting the barcode copies, but turns out that it probably is a very, very good thing to get barcode copies. So, in this case, the high grade of the direct edition is the only reason why I took it. The barcode on the newsstand, if the copy's an 8.5 or 9.0 at best, yeah, no thanks. Hopefully another collector will find that one in his bin still. If somebody didn't pick it up today, I hope somebody bought it today because that was good stuff. But yeah, this is, I know I'm hardcore Transformers and I have a lot of other like really obscure things I collect, but this Batman cover is something that I've been after for at least 2 years. I've been looking for him, for a while, and again, putting a whole bunch of them back, just waiting for the right one, and the right one came across, and I did actually get it for a lot less than I rightfully should have. But that's just the nature of the beast, guys. But yeah, this thing's beautiful, and I really hope that I hope it makes the grade. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. So now on to some other stuff. Now this stack of 3 books right here is going to be a little Transformers action. So Jim Lee, did you guys know Jim Lee drew Transformers covers before he really got popular and before he really started doing a whole lot of other stuff? So this is an early Jim Lee cover. This is Transformers number 67. Jim Lee's name is written right here on the corner of the book. If you don't believe me, go ahead and pick up a copy of this at your local store if they have one, or you can look it up online. This is when Jim Lee was basically, phoning in covers and being like, "Oh yeah, I'll draw a cover for you guys." So yeah, I picked it up just because it was a decent looking copy that I thought. Honestly, a lot of these were bundled together and things like, "Hey, I'll take this if you give me this, this, and this." I did try working deals, and honestly, this con was a little bit more flexible, except for this one dealer. I'll show you the book why he wasn't all that flexible, but I managed to finally get him to play ball. But anyway, so the other Transformers book I got, Transformers number 78, and you guys know that Transformers actually ended at issue 80 before Simon Furman, the writer, came back under IDW for 80.5 and then did 81 through 100 and an issue 0 for IDW under the title Regeneration 1. So if anybody watching this video has read the original Marvel Transformers series, they did actually finish it, I guess you can say. Yeah, check that out. It's a pretty decent read. Not my favorite. I'm definitely an IDW fanboy all the way through. So all good though. But so next year for Free Comic Book Day, I've said this in previous videos, they're going to have Unicron is finally going to be making into the IDW universe. He has yet to actually physically appear inside a story. He's appeared on some variant covers, and that's it. Unicron was kind of like shelved and just kind of like left there to be, that in case we need to, boost some sales. Basically, they've been shelving him because they've had other plot points going on, and they weren't really concerned about their readership when their readership was still selling 10,000 copies a month. Well, sales have kind of fallen. They're about 5,000 to 6,000 copies a month now, which is good for me as a variant collector. But for the other, for the other people who don't buy digitally and want only physical copies, it's tough. Because local stores aren't carrying it. People aren't excited about the brand. They're not reading about it. It doesn't have the hype of a movie that tanked to kind of help kill sales. And honestly, I really feel that if Hasbro had let IDW kind of be involved in the movies a little bit better, we probably would have better movies. But that's all speculation, hearsay, whatever. But yeah, a couple months ago, Unicron was brought up, and this whole ordeal with cover dates and things like that. I just wanted to cover all my bases just in case. When it comes to the first comic book appearance of Unicron, I really, truly, heartfully believe, again, he's mentioned in Transformers UK number 78, and then he appears in 82. And that's the cover that I shared that last time. That has Galvatron and Unicron on the cover. It says, the origin of Galvatron on it. Okay, so yeah, that one has a cover date of October something, where that was the last date it was allowed to sit on the shelf. That was the date it was actually pulled. Transformers, the actual movie, has a comic book adaptation, and yeah, this is number one right here. So this would be the first U.S. appearance of Unicron, if you're going to count it that way. But the first appearance of Unicron technically is in the Transformers UK series, again, mentioned by name in the first part of Target 2006, and then showing up in one of the later issues. So that's it for the Transformers stuff. And now we basically get into some of the Marvel stuff I dug through and found today. So I was really stoked about this one. Cable, of course, is definitely coming around on everybody's mind. And just digging through one of these guys that had like $5 variants, I found me this wonderful Avengers Extinction Stephen Platt 1 in 50 variant for issue number 2. I'd seen this book for sale before. I kind of wanted to get a copy just because Stephen Platt's art was pretty awesome. But this right here, Cable kicking the crap out of Iron Man. Say no more. You had me sold. And this one, it may have a break or two, so I don't know if it's going to 9.8. I don't know if it's going to be personal collection. But we'll see. It was still, too good to pass up. This one also was too good to pass up at $2. This is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sorry, all new Guardians of the Galaxy number 2. I already have this in my personal collection, but I honestly don't think too many people were reading the all new series. I'm buying the variants every time I see them. I don't know if you should be too, but this is pretty much where Gamora goes off on her little tangent about, trying to get an Infinity Stone. Now, this was a book that I thought I totally swore up and down. I was like, oh my God, dude, this is a 1 in 50, because some of these 1 in 50s have been selling for pretty serious coin. But it turns out it was a month where they had 2 1 in 25s. Oh, well. But this is still going to be one of those books that may have some future legs. This is the SpiderMan number 12, 1 in 25 variant, that shows a Miles Morales and a Gwen, aka Spider-Gwen, and Gwen Stacy, aka Peter's ex-GF, ex-love of Peter's life, all that other good stuff. Yeah, so pick this one up. This one's a good deal. And then I saw these, and I know they're not the number 17 variant, I think it is. I need that 17 variant to complete the entire run. Also think I need the number 3 variant. Not a big deal. But I bought these just because they were one of those things that I negotiated into a deal. And I know that they're actually pretty hard to come by. This would be the Unbelievable Gwenpool number 7 Minecraft variant, and I was fortunate enough to find 2 of them. We'll see if I can turn that into some flip skis to recoup some of my con costs here. All right, so another book And it's funny because the dealer that actually had this book, I think I saw him at a con like 2 weeks ago. So it was funny because the con that I actually just went to actually had a lot of these guys there. So good stuff though, nonetheless. Amazing Spider-Man number 611. Everybody knows it's a Deadpool issue. The second printing, however, is the one that says "See Spidey, everything was better in 1992." Well, I did manage to find a really really sweet one, and yeah, we're gonna see what this guy does. So it is now in my possession. I now have my first print, my second print. Cross those off the collection want list. Um, Now, diving through this one box, I was again I was kind of getting a little giddy and just buying stuff that I probably wouldn't normally buy. But this one is known as the Anderson variant for the Thor run, which is the Jane Foster Thor run. No, I understand this is not the 1 in 75 Alex Ross, and no, I also understand this is not the 1 in 300 Alex Ross. But if memory serves correctly, neither of those covers actually show this version of Thor. You know, the Jane Foster version of Thor. So this is the 1 in 50 that has her holding the hammer in a very forward method. I don't know if it was meant to express something, but that's what I heard. But I picked these up for steel. So yeah, found two really, really good copies, took them home. I saw this one as well. I think I saw the Assad Ribic one, and I think I put it back because I thought this one was a 1 in 50 also. Turns out it's not, just a 125. Or it is a 1 in 50, but there's two of them. Either way. This one is the Samney variant for Thor number 2. Good stuff. I actually, you know, that series only lasted 8 issues. It was 8 issues to figure out who she was. But then, of course, they followed it up with the Mighty Thor. And the Mighty Thor run was, I'm sorry, pretty freaking good. Led into the Thor 700 that we have with the new, with the Hela variant by Mr. Hughes. But Mr. Mike Cho had some variants for that run, and that was on issue number 4. I was able to obtain one of these from that box. And then getting into some older books here. What we got here? Okay. So yeah, I mean the Thor grabs are pretty good. You know, Thor's pretty popular in the movies right now. Another Marvel property that's pretty popular in the theaters and stuff like that happens to be a run of books that I sold off when I started selling all my comics. I had a stack all the way up to issue, I believe, 30 something. I mean, it was deep in the 30s at least. This series ran for 62 issues, and it is by far one of those Marvel books that whenever I look at it, I am a teenager again, sitting in my parents' house reading these books. Because I just thought this was the most wicked book that Marvel was putting out at the time. And this would be Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, with the original Guardians team, the team from the year 3000. So this was a pretty nice copy I nabbed off of my buddy hanging out at the entryway, and digging through that same box, I was able to find the last issue number 62. I was very very happy about this one too. This was a book that I had previously gotten flipped just because I felt no attachment because I didn't have any of the other Guardians. But now that they've done that legacy renumbering thing, we've got 150 issues. Trying to fill in the stuff, so we'll see. But another wonderful nab from that variant box would be this 1 in 50 Powell variant. The Angela introduction to the Guardians occurred in 5, 6, and 7. Angela and the Guardians, I thought was a great fit. I thought she was, good, Thor's sister. I know not everybody's keen with that storyline, but so this was one of the other $5 variants I nabbed today. Yeah, this is the 1 in 50 Keon variant. Now, yeah, there was no X23 variant. There was no of the XMen variants too. I'm looking for the Groot one. Talking to Jean Grey, I believe it's all new X-Men number 23. But $5. I'm not complaining on that one. It's not a 9.8. It's not even a 9.0, but it's still definitely a good pull there. Now Marvel, of course, has shelved another one of these books, and this hero herself, another one of those great creations, man. I just think is just her time has not come yet. I'm really, really sad to see her book canceled. I thought her book was better than Spider-Gwen's. And that would be Miss Silk. And of course, because this one was so cheap, I definitely picked it up. This is the 125 variant from her most recent #1 volume, Post Secret Wars. And then this one was also one of those $2 issues where I was just like, at first I was like, oh, maybe a good ratio variant, but no, it's not. It's just a Daniel Acuna variant for Spider-Man 2. I haven't read the story, so I'm gonna flip through it and see what that one's all about. Now we're starting to get into some of the cooler books. So yeah, this is a book that I picked up. I guess I am going for a new stand of the trifecta of this guy's first major story arc. I have the new stand for number 339. This one is number 338. So I guess when it comes into the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill, I'm going to be chasing a newsstand version of the 377 or 337. So yeah, that was one of the older books I picked. Here we go. We're getting to the bottom. Okay, we got the last 4 books now. Now this is where stuff gets cool. So this is a book that I saw someone had mentioned. Just I believe it was on CBSI, and it's a book that I never saw at any of the stores because apparently it came out in 2006, and apparently sales were kind of low at the time. This would be a Warlock #1. And I just thought it was really cool. I flipped through it. The story seems a little bit different than what I'm used to. Now we get another first appearance here, and this is another book that I believe CBSI had mentioned just recently. I like this book. I like this book a lot because one of the first artists that I believe I had met was Art Adams, and that was when I was doing conventions back in the very early 90s. I had Art Adams actually sign the Marvel card for this character's card, and I had him also sign X-Men Annual 10 when this character joined the X-Men. But this is the first appearance of Longshot, and I was able to obtain a very, very sweet-looking newsstand copy of this book today. So this is another one of those books, man, that just reminds me of my youth. Very, very pleased about that one. So yeah, now we're down to 2 books. So this book, I got a smoking deal on it. When I was actually old enough to go to the comic book store and buy some things that were kind of expensive, this book was this had a $10 cover price. Trying to drum up $20 for books 1 and book 2 of this, I missed out on first prints completely, and I got second printing. Second printing still really funny. Didn't really affect the value too much. All good though. So I nabbed this one today. Negotiated the guy down to $20. Really smoking looking copy of Thanos Quest Book 1. So that is definitely that's a win right there. I don't care who you are. But what may honestly be the holy grail of all the books I picked up. I mean, obviously, that Batman. If that Batman grades out at a 9.8, that's a huge win. Either the detective or the other one, grading out at a 9.8 would be great. But this book right here. Okay, so everybody knows Deadpool's coming up. All of a sudden, X-Men 205 has been kind of doing things, kind of selling. I believe in a previous video you guys saw that I nabbed a 9.6 because Raws are selling for close to 100, if not over 100. So every time I kept seeing Raws sell for that much, I'm like, man, I really, really needed to get a copy and really need to get a clean copy of this book. Well, I picked up a 9.6 for it was like $90 plus shipping, so it was like 100, a little over 100 shipped. Today at that same bin, where the guy has none of my books are priced except for I got a $5 box, I got a $3 box. This dude is super tough on his wall books. Like it looks like a 9.8. I want what 9.8s are selling for. I got frustrated with him very early in the morning, and I said, "Screw you! I'm not doing your work for you, buddy," and I'm walking away. And I went and I bought a whole bunch of books elsewhere. So after my buddy came, showed me all the cool books that he dug out of this guy's bin and got good deals on stuff, I said, "Okay, you know what? Let me take a crack at it." So I went diving through some of his. And that's where some of those other filler books came from because he's trying to get me, $10, $20, on certain books. And I'm like, these are $5, these are $7. So he wanted to make his money on me. Flat out tells me he buys 2 copies of X-Men 205 for $150. Okay, it's about 75 bucks a variant. And knowing this guy, he probably paid 75 for both of them. But then he tells me, he's like, yeah, one's got the insert. I said, wait, what? We talk about insert. And this is news to me. It may not be news to you guys, but it's totally news to me. That apparently the survey that they had sent out with X Factor 205 also made its way into X-Men 205. So if you don't know, you know, and Notorious B.I.G. would respect that, that there is actually a variant of the variant for the first appearance of Hope. So what I have here is indeed a very extra thick copy of X-Men 205, Jeff Scott Campbell variant. Now, I'm going to pull this guy out. It's double boarded. It's a thick book, but it's, we got something special on the inside here. So, I mean, this book is just oversized and massive. It does not. It doesn't look like a regular X-Men 205, which is a pretty tiny book. So he shows me this, and I had to work him. But on the inside, there's actually this survey here from Marvel. Here, give me a second to put a board behind the other side of it. There we go. So on the inside of my X-Men 205 variant, I actually have this wonderful Marvel survey right here. It says, "Attention Marvel fans. You give us a few minutes, we'll give you a chance to win an Xbox 360 in an envelope." And it's funny enough, it's attached to a page that's a PlayStation 3 ad. Hilarious. So yeah, right there in the centerfold of the book is an envelope that is "Attention Marvel fans" with a survey. So I don't know if this is a survey variant. I mean, obviously I know it's a survey variant, but I just don't know how many of them are out there. I didn't see any notation on the CGC label for my 9.6 stating anything about the survey being intact or the survey being missing. So I don't know what I got here, everybody, but I'm pretty stoked. So yeah, so that's the last book of my haul. Again, X-Men 205 with the with this survey on the inside of it. Pretty wicked stuff. I hope this thing presses up to a 9.8, and when I send it in for grading, it gets a notation or something, but we'll see. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for hanging in there and watching. I've been trying to keep an eye on the chat, but yo, there's Zach. What's up, Zach? And I want to thank the rest of you guys for watching me tonight. And yeah, and in fact, I want to give a little mention that you guys should tune into the Tales from the Flip Side podcast tomorrow night. Should be entertaining. We'll see what's popping over there. So again, thanks everybody, CBSI Nation. Thanks for tuning in, and y'all have a good one. I'll catch you next time.